Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me in this new episode of the Twilight Zone. Okay, so we are getting further into the viewers list. So today's turn is for Season 2, Episode 29, The Obsolete Man. As always, I see no spoilers or any information about the episode I'm about to watch. Today's turn, I'm gonna have cheese and Mexican chocolate. And I'm gonna have this drink, which has one of my favorite Pokemons. I love Charmander. I have no idea what this is. Oh, wait, there's lychee flavor. Yay! I got this lychee flavor soda. I have no idea what the brand of this is. It's all in Chinese. And for today's episode, I got Robin here with me. She's not really happy about it. Remember, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. You can also like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. And if you want to see the full reaction of this episode and you want to support the creation of more videos like this, you can become a patron or a YouTube member. I will leave all the links in the description box below. Okay, so let's get this done.
Wordsworth, Romney, obsolescence.
You walk into this room at your own risk, because it leads to the future. Not a future that will be, but one that might be. This is not a new one. It has patterned itself after every dictator who has ever planted the ripping imprint of a boot on the base of history. But like every one of the superstates that preceded it, it has one iron rule. Logic is an enemy and truth is a menace.
Like every dictatorship.
This is Mr. Romney Wordsworth. He's a citizen of the state, but will soon have to be eliminated. Mr. Romney Wordsworth, who will draw his last breaths in the Twilight Zone.
Oh man. So they're gonna be all substituted with what, robots?
Your occupation, Mr. Wordsworth?
A librarian.
What?
Laughter?
Alive. You sure he knows his rights?
He's been given orientation, sir.
Mr. Wordsworth, I'm told that you've had cause. Stand back in the light, Mr. Wordsworth. And this finding carries with it serious implications. Do you understand?
He looks like Burgess Meredith. Could it be him? The quality, the copy that I'm using is not really that good, so I hope I got it correct anyway.
A librarian. Having to do with books.
Oh,
Yes, sir. Since there are no more books, Mr. Wordsworth, there are no more libraries. A minister would tell us that his function is that of preaching the word of God. Since the state has proven that there is no God, that would make the function of a minister.
There is.
this is obviously, if this is a dictatorship, and knowledge is a common enemy of all dictatorships, a librarian, the guardian of knowledge, he would be completely against a dictatorship, so, yeah.
A god.
Oh, and he believes in God.
The state has proven that there is no God. Who has no purpose here, no meaning.
I am a human being.
You're a librarian, Mr. Wordsworth. Pamphlets and closed stacks and the musty insides of a language factory that spews out meaningless words on an assembly line. The narcotics that you call literature, the Bible, poetry, essays of all kind, all of it an opiate, and the state has no use for your kind.
This is horrible. This is, again, another episode of the Twilight Zone that is so strong against books. The first one was Time Enough at Last with Burgess Meredith, where, the wife was against books. At least the wife was not the dictator. Well, but it was about, I remember that she called it daggerel, like there's no meaning in words in books. And this is again another episode that has that issue against books. And obviously, this is a dictatorship. I get it. I see that he was supposed to bring a defense, something, and the fact that he started off like, oh yes, I'm a librarian, and they go like, what is he doing? I guess his appeal would be about his worth as a human being. I hope it is. And how a dictatorship cannot tell how much worth a person has because of their occupation or any other condition of this human being. So let's see. I'm getting way too ahead of this.
How do you find, ladies and gentlemen?
Obsolete.
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 Oh man.
The board finds you obsolete.
You are to be liquidated within a period of 48 hours, but you have an option as to method and precise time. Pills, gas, electrocution.
How humane.
I merely said that I was a very rich man. I have such a luxury of choices that I choose the following. To be given an assassin to whom I shall tell the method of my execution.
This is unheard of. Mr. Wordsworth, we don't understand the nature of the request.
Only he and I will know the way that I'm to die.
That will be acceptable, Mr. Wordsworth.
Just one final request. I should like to die with an audience.
Miss, it's not unusual that we televise executions. As to the time of the liquidation, Mr. Wordsworth?
Midnight tomorrow, in my room.
Agreed, Mr. Wordsworth.
He has it all prepared, right?
That will be all. You may leave and return to your room.
That is so horrible. Can a man get some peace before dying? Oh, look at all the boots.
Come in, Chancellor. Thank you for coming.
Very irregular, Mr. Wordsworth. You know why I've come. Do you?
Is
Well,
he
I
gonna
invited
execute
you.
him?
Your demise in less than an hour can be attributed, at least in part, to my decision. The state has no fears. None at all.
No.
Of course.
Will you come to my room to prove that the state isn't afraid of me? Oh, what an incredible burden I must be. To have to prove...
In a few moments, you'll be cringing and pleading, just like they all do. Oh, yes, indeed, you fit. And in a few minutes, when you feel life slipping away, when you feel that your survival is just a question of minutes, we'll see then which is the stronger, Mr. Wordsworth, the state or the librarian.
Oh, he's trying to cause fear.
Well, we're being televised now.
It's not unusual that we televise executions, Mr. Wordsworth. Last year in the mass execution, 1,300 people were put to death in less than 6 hours.
Oh, whoa.
Do you?
We had predecessors, Mr. Wordsworth, who had the beginnings of the right idea.
Hitler.
Hitler, of course.
Stalin.
Stalin, too. Too many undesirables were left around. Old people, for example. The sick, the maimed, and the deformed. They fasten onto the healthy body and damage it. So we eliminate them. And people like yourself, they can perform no useful function for the state, so we put an end to them.
How horrible.
Mr. Romney Wordsworth, librarian, goes to his own nirvana. That's what they call it in your books, isn't it, Mr. Wordsworth?
Oh, stop it.
Unfortunately, I don't have time to be entertained by them when they do come. I have another appointment this evening.
He's not gonna be there?
You have plenty of time. You're not going anywhere.
How's that?
Would you like to know the method that I've chosen for my liquidation? Well, in a very few moments, here in this room, a bomb is going off.
Very thoughtful, Mr. Wordsworth.
Wait. And he can't get out? How is he gonna... Oh, he's gonna be begging for his life, not Mr. Wordsworth. It's gonna be this over here. Oh, that was sweet. I'm so excited.
Depends on the individual, Mr. Wordsworth.
Indeed it does.
Yes.
What kind of idiocy is this, Mr. Wordsworth? You've locked the door.
How does a man react to the knowledge that he's going to be blown to
To
bits
die.
within a half an hour? Answer, it depends on the individual.
Oh, he's shitting his very nice, neat, clean pants.
I'm going to sit down and read my Bible. It's been hidden here for over 20 years. It's a crime punishable by death.
To own?
How will you spend your last moments, Chancellor?
This is insane, Wordsworth. Let me out of here.
No, he's not.
There's nobody there. That's one of the rules you made up yourself. Isolate the persons to be liquidated. That's what you said. Oh, no.
Oh, this is so beautiful.
But you're insane, Wordsworth, if you think they'll let me stay here.
They? You mean the state? Oh,
The state doesn't give a shit.
they wouldn't want to miss this scene. No, I think they won't help you.
Misjudged you, Wordsworth.
You wanted the whole country to see the way that a librarian dies. Well, let the whole country see the way an official of the state dies, too.
Yeah.
Face the cameras. Step into the light. As death is a great equalizer.
He's gonna put you in the same level. I mean, he's got enough time to think of something, but I don't know what could he do.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
No, the bomb could go off at the wrong time and just go before. Oh, this guy is gonna sweat blood.
Lord, hear my voice.
Oh, 2 minutes!
With an ear.
Please.
Oh, he's begging.
In the name of God, let me out.
For the what?
Yes, Chancellor, in the name of God, I will let you out.
Oh man, what? He got saved. But he was begging for his life. That must have been so embarrassing.
Stand where you are. No further. You have been removed from office. The field investigators have declared you obsolete.
Oh.
Obsolete.
You have disgraced the state. You have proven yourself a coward. You have therefore no function. You are obsolete.
Oh.
I'm not obsolete.
Oh no, you're not going anywhere. It was very theatrical. I love it.
I have a function. I have a purpose. Please.
There you go. No, you don't.
Please. I want to serve the state. Please. I'm not obsolete. No.
Oh, this is horrible. His own people against him. Oh, that's so scary. Oh my
The Chancellor,
god.
the late, he was obsolete. But so is the state, the entity he worshipped. Any state, any entity, any ideology that fails to recognize the worth, the dignity, the rights of man, that state is obsolete.
Oh. Wow. Okay. I loved it. Yes, it was Burgess Meredith. Okay, I can recognize him now. I'm kind of Fritz Weaver. Okay. I haven't ever seen anything about this other guy. Okay. I love it. I love the subject. I love the fact that this is within a dictatorship. I've already seen one episode with a dictatorship in the Twilight Zone, which is the Eye of the Beholder, and this crazy law about ugly people that has to look like the other uglies, and it's this beautiful lily monster who cannot be within the beauty standards. In this case, this is about life and death. This is not about just exile like the Eye of the Beholder. I loved Burgess Meredith's plan. I loved the fact that he was like, oh, well, I'm gonna die with a bomb. The fact that he accepted his fate as an obsolete man, even though he knows he's not obsolete, but the fact that he's obsolete to the system, to the dictatorship, to the state, not to the world. The fact that he was the guardian of knowledge makes him an even bigger enemy of the state. The fact that they proved the existence or inexistence of God by just an edict is just ridiculous. But that's what dictatorships do. They just say, well, we just establish as law that, the earth is flat, and they just go along with it. We've already seen it in ridiculous dictatorships around the world, and how even if you're part of it, they can turn around against you, you know? And this was obvious with the Chancellor. Was it Chancellor? Was it a Chancellor? I think he was. Like, if you do not serve the state, then you are useless. So I think this episode is great for those people who support dictatorships without knowing what they are, and showing them how easy they can turn against you, that there's no loyalty from the dictatorship to their servants. It has to be one way, okay? It has to be one-sided. You know, the person has to be loyal to the state, but not the other way around. And that is horrible. And like I said before, no government, no one can dictate the value of a person because of any type of condition. And in this case, the state only has one distinction. You either are helpful or not to the state. The way that the Chancellor died in the hands of the very people that he used to command, and seeing them doing this with so much hatred to him, like even enjoying it, makes it even scarier, because first he was the one showing that he was going to enjoy Mr. Wordsworth. I can't remember his it didn't have any subtitles, so it's difficult for me to get the name. But he was going to enjoy his death. He was going to be like, oh, we're gonna televise it and people is gonna love it. But the fact that he was like, okay, I want it televised, I want everyone to see what a coward you are, that was perfect, you know? And the guy had to take the risk of begging, take the risk of showing weakness, and in the end, this risk gave him a horrible result, you know? Even though he tried to save his life, even though he tried to escape his fate, he could not escape the state, which was a lot worse. I guess the death by a bomb would have been better because it would have been swift. That's what I would think. Probably you would have been without legs and, you know, lived the rest of his life like that. And still would have been like, oh, you didn't die even you lost your legs? Oh, you're not good enough. You know, probably something like that would have happened. But yeah, this episode felt so short. I mean, it was a 25-minute episode and I felt it was just 10 minutes long. It was that good. Like, and you know, sometimes when I don't say anything about the episode, it's because I am so absorbed into it. And I know that this video is gonna be kind of short because I didn't get to react a lot, but because I was so absorbed into it. Anyway, I really love this episode. I know that I am missing so many things about the episode. So I'm gonna look for some information on the internet and I'll be right back. A year and a half after Time Enough at Last from 1959, Burgess Meredith has a Twilight Zone character defined by his relation to books. Yes, this is something I mentioned before. I think his passion for books was stronger in the previous episode rather than this one. But in here, he showed his intelligence because of being a librarian. The Blu-ray release includes Rod Serling's plug for the following week's episode, Where Is Everybody?, which was the series pilot and the opening show of the first season. Okay, I have no idea. Fritz Weaver portrays a high-ranking member of a totalitarian state who, at one point, admires Adolf Hitler. Ironically, Weaver went on to play a Jewish victim of the Holocaust in Holocaust from 1978. And that's it. That's all the trivia from this episode, okay? Well, this episode, like I said, I love it. It's kind of normal that back in the 60s they would be more emphatic about totalitarian states. They mention Hitler, they mention Stalin. Had this episode been later in the 90s, that would have been a much longer list. And if they did it today, that will be a much longer and I think still active list of, totalitarian leaders. Anyway, I think this is gonna be in my top 5 favorite episodes. I love Burgess Meredith. I think I've come to appreciate his work a lot more, and this episode was the cherry on top. Thank you for joining me in this episode. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless, and bye-bye.